2023 was a surprisingly light year where first-party PlayStation releases are concerned, with Marvel's Spider-Man 2 really being the only major game coming from a Sony studio this year. In spite of that, however, thanks to a deluge of excellent releases from a variety of third-party devs, the PS5 still ended up enjoying what might be its best year yet, and by some margin at that. With 2023 now in our rear-view mirror, here we're gonna take a look back and talk about the games that we feel stood as the best in the PS5's library. Number 23, Diablo 4. Blizzard hasn't been able to support Diablo 4 following its release the way so many would have hoped. And though criticism on that front is warranted, there's no denying the game's underlying qualities. The addictive core loop of adrenaline-fueled combat and loot-driven progression is as strong as it's ever been, while the addition of an open world also contribute to a solid foundation. Number 22, Like a Dragon Ishin. It's incredible how consistently solid the Like a Dragon franchise has been over the years, and though Like a Dragon Ishin was a decidedly different experience with its period Japanese setting, it continued the trend of great new games in this semi-open world franchise. That setting was, in fact, one of its biggest strengths, and it blended perfectly with other strengths that the series has always been known for. From excellent storytelling to impressively designed and varied side content to enjoyable flashy combat. Number 21, Lords of the Fallen. Lords of the Fallen launched with grand ambitions, with developer Hexworks hyping it up to no end. Whether the action RPG is able to achieve those ambitions might be up for debate, but there's little doubt that it's a solid experience on its own merits. Intricate level design that encourages exploration, brutal and crunching combat, some excellent enemy fights, and top-notch graphics combine in a worthy addition to the Souls-like genre. Number 20, Season, A Letter to the Future. Season, A Letter to the Future hasn't been in the conversation as much as it perhaps should have, thanks to how ridiculously packed 2023 has been, but as those who have played it will tell you, it's worth checking out. A meditative, thoughtful, and deliberately slow-paced experience, Season puts players in a gorgeous, yet dying world, and tasks you with memorializing it before its impending demise by exploring serene environments and logging everything they have to show. To say the very least, it's a unique experience that stands out in memory. Number 19, Viewfinder. Viewfinder might be one of the more unique first-person puzzlers we've played in a long time, which is saying a lot given that this is a game that thrives on creativity and uniqueness. Though fairly brief throughout its runtime, it does an excellent job of using its core premise of manipulating photographs as 3D objects to help you overcome obstacles in the environment. It's the sort of thing that you experience and can't help but keep wondering how it was even conceived, much less successfully implemented in the game. Tied for 18 and 17, RoboCop Rogue City. RoboCop Rogue City is further proof that you don't need a AAA budget to be able to bring a special something in a game effectively, though it definitely doesn't boast the level of polish and scale that you would expect from a AAA production. It captures the essence of an engaging first-person shooter perfectly, and in doing so delivers an experience that's not only a must-play for any RoboCop fan, but also remains riotously enjoyable even from a fundamental moment-to-moment gameplay perspective. Tied for 18 and 17, Jusant. Dontnod branched out in impressive fashion with Jusant, and it's fair to say that the experimentation paid off. Though storytelling is still an important part of the experience, Jusant goes about it in a very different way. Instead of choosing to put players in a platforming puzzler, its central premise of scaling a massive mountain is a decidedly straightforward one, but the game utilizes it to its fullest potential from beginning to end. Number 16, Dead Island 2. Coming after a long and protracted development cycle that saw the project changing developers multiple times, Dead Island 2 was fighting an uphill battle from day one and still, somehow, managed to deliver a great experience. Gleefully bloody, utterly gorgeous, brimming with personality, and appropriately concise, Dambuster Studios' action RPG knew exactly the kind of straightforward and proudly mindless slasher it wanted to be, and it was better for it. Number 15, Everspace 2. courtesy of its lengthy early access period, that Everspace 2 was going to be a hell of a game had been plainly visible for a while before its release, and upon launch, its 1.0 version very much met all of those expectations. Its moment-to-moment spaceflight and combat gameplay builds on the first game in smart ways, while some radical shifts in other areas, from an open-world structure to much more involved loot-driven progression, made it that much more of an engaging experience. Number 14. Wild Hearts. Monster Hunter has reigned uncontested in its particular subgenre for as long as anyone can remember, and though Wild Hearts doesn't quite come close enough to threaten supplanting it, it's undoubtedly a great first outing for a new IP that all fans of monster hunting action RPGs should check out. Thanks to tight mechanics and incredible monster design, combat in Wild Hearts is a consistent thrill, whether that's against trash mobs or the set-piece bosses, combined with excellent map design and the uniqueness of the Karakuri devices and everything they bring to the table. The game successfully carves out a distinct identity for itself. Number 13. Horizon Forbidden West: Burning Shores. Given how excellent Horizon Forbidden West was, we were more than happy to have the excuse to dive back in with its Burning Shores expansion, though we probably didn't expect it would be as good as it turned out to be. For starters, its new open-world map of the sunken post-apocalyptic remains of Los Angeles makes for an excellent setting, while the expansion also tells a captivating story that proves to be a worthy addition to the series canon. Add to that incredible visuals and a particularly memorable, breathtaking set-piece sequence, and you get a package that's more unmissable than many would have thought. Number 12. Lies of P. Many games have tried their hand at the Souls-like genre over the last decade and a half, and outside of From Software itself, it's hard to think of one that has captured its strengths as expertly as Lies of P does. Thrilling challenge, tight mechanics, and rewarding progression systems come together in a brilliant action RPG experience, which is uplifted further still by its gorgeously evocative Gothic Belle Epoque setting. And that setting is not only stunning to behold in a visual sense, thanks to excellent design, it's also an absolute blast to explore and unlock. Number 11. Cyberpunk 2077: Phantom Liberty. After its infamously terrible launch, many had written off Cyberpunk 2077 as an unsalvageable mess, ourselves included. But CD Projekt Red stuck with the troubled action RPG until, in 2023, its persistence paid off, with the 1-2 punch of Update 2.0 and Phantom Liberty, completing a remarkable turnaround for the game. The expansion in particular deserves special praise for how significantly better it is at properly adapting the cyberpunk universe, delivering a great setting, crafting engaging gameplay, and all around just doing a much better job of realizing the potential of the IP. Number 10. Final Fantasy XVI. Final Fantasy XVI has a dark tone, and this is what helps it to distinguish itself from the rest of the games in the genre in excellent ways. Beyond that, with incredible combat, stunning visuals, and excellently realized gameplay mechanics, Final Fantasy XVI definitely earns itself a spot on this list. Number 9. Resident Evil 4 Remake. 2019's RE2 remake went down as one of the biggest games in recent years, but then it was followed up with RE3, which was undoubtedly disappointing in many ways, including but not limited to cut content. RE4 Remake features intriguing combat mechanics, and it does so with ease. It also features the kind of graphical fidelity and atmospheric effects that one can expect from the genre. Number 8. Street Fighter 6. The rich vein of form fighting games has been in for the last several years also made its way to the Street Fighter franchise in 2023. When Street Fighter 6 launched, it almost felt like an explicit apology for the half-baked state its predecessor had launched in many years ago, delivering a cavalcade of content across the 3 overarching modes, or hubs, that served as its main pillars. Multiplayer was obviously the highlight, but some of its new ideas may not have landed as well as they should have, while post-launch microtransactions have also drawn some criticism, but by and large, this is one of the best fighting games of the year. Number 7. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Survivor does an excellent job of its horizons in several meaningful ways. On top of delivering a great setting, it does that in unpredictable ways. The game also continues to build on its excellent platforming design, combat, and traversal mechanics. From beginning to end, Survivor delivers a steady stream of moments and sequences that will live long in our memories. Number 6. Hogwarts Legacy. An open-world RPG set in Hogwarts has always seemed like such a perfect idea, and though it certainly took longer for it to actually materialize than many expected, when it did arrive it lived up to expectations. Hogwarts Legacy's biggest strength is the love, care, and attention with which it brings the iconic magical school to life, cramming both the castle itself and the massive areas surrounding it with a startling level of details. Simply existing in the world the game creates is pure joy, even if the way the experience is structured can feel a bit rote. Number 5. Dead Space. We've been treated to many great remakes in recent years, and we've been treated to many great survival horror games, but very few of them have managed to touch the utterly terrifying heights of Motive Studios' Dead Space remake. If there ever was just one game that you could point to as an example of how to faithfully pay tribute to an all-time classic while making the exact right amount and kind of changes required to expand upon it and modernize it, 2023's Dead Space would be it. Brutal, horrifying, visually stunning, and psychologically unsettling, it's easily one of the highlights of the year. Number 4. Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon. From Software switched gears in 2023 from Souls-like games to something that its older fans will be very familiar with, and in doing so, delivered one of the best mech action games we've ever played in Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon. With its grueling difficulty and stellar boss fights, it delivers in the ways that we've all come to expect from Software at this point in time, but it does so without losing the essence of what makes Armored Core great. Chief among its strengths in those areas is the sheer range and freedom it affords to players, in its vast and nuanced customization mechanics, and how rewarding it can be to master them, with the perfect build for your mech to overcome a previously insurmountable challenge. Number 3. Baldur's Gate 3. Choice and consequence is something a great many games hang their hat on, but Baldur's Gate 3 puts the vast majority of them to shame. Not only with the mind-boggling range of choices it also presents, but also in the meaningful impact almost all of them end up having with your experience, and in ways that are consistently delightful and unexpected. Without a doubt, Baldur's Gate 3 gameplay mechanics provide an engaging experience. Number 2. Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is pretty much the perfect sequel, one that builds on its predecessors in every way possible, even in areas where many would have thought major improvements weren't necessary. Take the traversal mechanics, for instance, which were already the series' greatest strength, and with Marvel's Spider-Man 2 somehow scaled even higher heights. Similarly radical improvements were also made to the combat and its expanded focus on explosive abilities. Combined with a brilliantly told main story, a larger open world, and significantly better skill tree, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is easily one of the best games of the year. Number 1. Alan Wake 2. Living up to more than a decade of anticipation can never be an easy task for any game, but Alan Wake 2 not only lives up to expectations but blows them completely out of the water. Remedy Entertainment has a knack for delivering the unexpected, and it does so in much more emphatic fashion with Alan Wake 2 than it ever has. The sequel's switch to the survival horror genre is an ingenious move that elevates the experience in and of itself, thanks to the tense and rewarding exploration, tight-level design, and heart-pounding combat. But above all else, what really sets this game apart is its audacious, bold, and wonderfully bizarre setting. So layered and intricate is its gripping setting, it's hard to tear yourself away for even a second. And the fact that it manages to convey it all without ever feeling overwrought or needlessly self-indulgent makes its writing accomplishments that much more impressive. Alan Wake 2 is an absolute masterpiece that we're going to be thinking about for a long, long time to come. That's all for now. If you enjoy what you saw, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, now is a great time to subscribe. We upload brand new videos every single day. After subscribing, don't forget to enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you next time, right here on GamingBolt.